Greetings and welcome to another episode of Shop Talk down here at Page 3's Game Zone. I'm Nathan Varney.
And I'm Aaron Sawyers.
And today we're going to be taking a look at X-Men 92, number 1, for Marvel Comics. It goes on sale on Wednesday, June the 24th, 2015. This book, as with most of what we've been taking a look at here recently, with most Marvel Comics, there's just a few exceptions. This book is set on Battle World.
Yep.
In Secret Wars.
In 92.
In 1992. Now, the significance of this book is pulling one of the domains of Westchester, one of the domains on Battle World, features as pulling the 1992 X-Men animated series from the old Fox cartoon, Saturday morning cartoon, into Battle World.
Which is fantastic because that's what I grew up with, and I love the show.
It is what really got me hooked into X-Men and comic books in general. This cartoon was. So I was pretty stoked just when I first even just saw the solicitation for this comic. I was really looking forward to giving it a read, and not to. Well, let's just say, before we get into this, I was looking forward to it, and I guess we'll talk about whether or not I was let down or not here in just a minute.
First thing to notice, Jubilee's dumbfounded face on the front of it, like, what? My fireworks don't work?
Okay, all right. The dual writers on this book, Chris Sims and Chad Bowers, and primary art Scott Koblish. And I'll say right up front here, I was actually a little
Nervous?
shocked that there were two writers on this book. For those of you that have watched some of the other reviews that we've done recently with multiple writers, they've not been ideal.
Yeah.
There have been one or two that were just okay, and one or two that I just thought was just not good at all.
The past ones have felt like you could tell that there were two writers.
Yeah.
Like they wrote two separate parts of the book, and it felt like that. This one, I have to say, it felt complete.
Yeah, I didn't realize, not to jump ahead here, but until we sat down and opened this, I actually did not realize, I was unaware that there were two writers. So, good job. All right. So here in this book, the X-Men, they're in a laser arena playing laser tag at the beginning of the book. As they go, they're in a training session here because the danger room's being worked on.
Yep. Because Wolverine has apparently
butchered it.
That's why they call it the danger room problem.
Yes. The Sentinels, there were some Sentinels which turned out to be basically rogue Sentinels that had not been found. They bust through the mall, kind of reminiscent of Night of the Sentinels from the first and second episodes of the original cartoon, and attack the X-Men. Baron Kelly arrives at the end of the battle, and says
it's funny because it's in Secret Wars. It's not President Kelly. It's Baron Kelly, and I love the fact that he rides in on like this hover chariot led by robotic dogs.
Yes. So he comes and says, basically assures them that there was no ill intent here. That basically there was some Sentinels, that the war between humans and mutants is over in Westchester, and these Sentinels, because they had been programmed so well to not be detected previously, they weren't able to recapture them or bring them back in and deprogram them to seek mutants anymore.
Which is where very interesting, we get started, and I like how they did it because they talk about it and they start to go back into how apparently there was a war between mutants and humans, and everybody was starting to really resent mutants until the X-Men showed up and showed them that there can be good mutants.
Yeah.
So
I kind of felt like that was a little bit of a nod to the original cartoon of kind of some stuff that they were really striving for there, which, not to say that not that different from the comic books, the traditional comics, but regardless, that was certainly it kind of felt like it picked up of sorts, you know, I don't want to say right after the cartoon series ended, but because certainly there were other things that had happened, some other characters were in and out by the end of that great cartoon.
Yeah.
But I did feel like though that it's as if this were the cartoon, like this was almost like it was episode 1 of the cartoon had it taken place on Battle World. So the X-Men end up going to one of the soldiers that was with Kelly, Baron Kelly, made mention of Clear Mountain.
Yeah.
They talk about it a little bit. The X-Men go back. They talk with Professor Xavier about it, and they go to end up going there to check it out, to see is it indeed what they said.
Yeah. And Cyclops, Scott mentions that he felt like the war was over and the X-Men aren't necessarily needed anymore and they don't need him. So after this, he was going to leave the X-Men.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So, everybody kind of really felt like that things were good.
Yep.
So they went to investigate to make sure no mutants were being harmed at this facility, that it was indeed a rehabilitation center for previous evil mutants, as they were calling them, which is what they would have called them in the cartoon originally.
Yeah.
So, again, keeping with that type of dialogue and tone and language and stuff.
Yeah.
So they arrive, and as it's revealed that Cassandra Nova, which was a fantastic X-Men villain in the comic books, in the what was New X-Men, that was revealed by Grant Morrison's run on New X-Men. But anyway, so she's the head of the Clear Mountain facility.
Yes.
She takes them through and through the different areas of the facility, and you see various and sundry other mutants there, drawn in a very 1992 what they would have either what they were or what they should have appeared in the cartoon as around the facility. Then she takes them to an area that she says where she wants them to see what it's like.
Yeah, the last stage.
The mind
room?
Yes.
Mind room? Yeah.
And of course, it appears to be a trap. She says that it's not a trap, but she's got them in, she puts them in they sit down, she gets them into shackles and whatnot, and
she's basically going to pacify them.
Yes.
Is her goal. Yeah,
she says that she's not going to, it's not a trap, but that it's therapy. Yeah, was what she said.
She will not harm them, but she says they are too violent for the world now, and so basically she's going to pacify them, except Jubilee.
Yes.
Who was too young for the treatment.
Which I wonder what there has to be something to that.
I'm sure there's something with it.
Yeah,
no doubt. Now, if it's actually with Jubilee or for age,
right?
That's it.
That's
the question.
So, not. For me, the biggest surprise in the book was that Cassandra Nova was in the book.
Yeah.
I thought that was a very interesting decision, and a good one, I think. Because I did like her as an X-Men villain, an opponent. She's such a formidable foe. They have said that she's Apocalypse has cloned her in here. She has said, okay, you're Apocalypse cloned Xavier, and it's her. In the original books, she was the unborn twin of Xavier that he killed in the womb and all that. So, but nonetheless, here she's a clone of Xavier. Has also, they basically reveal her to be also the Shadow King, which of course she calls herself the Shadow Queen. But so lots of twists thrown because of Cassandra Nova, and I think it's because of her strength as an X-Men villain.
Oh yeah.
So basically just being in the book led to lots of plot twists and potential plot twists.
Oh yeah, she really mops the floor with Xavier.
Yes, on the astral plane.
And which she is now called the mind room.
Yes.
She has now changed it.
Yeah.
And turned it into the mind room.
Yeah. So, a lot of really neat possibilities. I think that Jubilee will probably. My suspicion is Jubilee is probably going to
use her fireworks.
Have something like either like Cassandra's going to try to use her in some other way and like convince her, well, I'm not going to treat you like a child like these other people are, so here, do this thing that you probably have no business doing, some evil thing.
I will be very upset if it's not a 90s storyline like that. Like, oh, you don't have to listen to adults anymore.
Well, I mean, the tone of the book had as I mentioned earlier, the language in the book, the way that the characters talked, I mean, it was exactly how they were portrayed in the cartoon, which is, I mean, I really felt like I was reading an episode of the original cartoon.
Yeah, there was even one part, and where was it, that Wolverine censored himself, and I was trying to remember the word that he said. He was like, I mean, he says, what in blazes?
Yeah.
What in blazes are going on?
Yeah.
So, that's an example of the
I
tone.
thought there was some, I was curious, later on in the book, when Cassandra first meets the X-Men and Beast is talking with her.
Oh, yeah.
She said something to him, and then it was X'd
out
out with a big red X, and it said, inappropriate, use this.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, is this really, something the editors missed? Surely not.
No.
And then a couple of pages later, you see again another, no, don't pretend this didn't happen.
Yeah.
And so my assumption here is that that's actually Cassandra Nova
using telepathy.
Yeah, manipulating the thoughts of everybody that's hearing these conversations, and it's like, no, that didn't actually happen,
including the reader.
Yes, including the reader. So that was.
I thought that's
an interesting way to go about that.
When I seen it, I was like, "What? That does? I don't. What is this?" And then when I noticed it again, I was like, "Ah."
Yeah, the first time was like, "Is this a mistake?" The second time it was, "Oh, okay, yeah. I see what they're doing."
Absolutely.
So, I felt like that it was. I enjoyed it. Again, I guess I have to say one more time, because it felt so much like that original cartoon. I have to give it two pops of bubble gum up.
2 pops of bubble gum up. I enjoyed it. It did remind me. It brought me back to the cartoon. I really liked it, and the art was good because it did. Again, the art even reminded me of the cartoon.
I mean, it if it were that type of art, normally I probably would be like, but because it was this art for this book, it's like, man, this was spot on for this.
I give it 2 extremes up because nothing's more extreme than the 90s.
All right. Well, any other final thoughts before we wrap up, Aaron?
Fireworks.
Looking for fireworks.
Fireworks save the day. I'll call it right here and there.
All right. Well, that wraps up another episode of Shop Talk down here at Page 3's Game Zone. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.